Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. I am here coming to you from San Diego. I'll be here till tomorrow. So, no big change there. Good to see all of y'all. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, where we do the show live on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're here this morning, say good morning. Mr. Mike Brown, Randy Teakle, giddy up, sir. Monica Dinkins, good morning. Megan Bissell, great to have you here. Julie Lawrence, great to see you. Deb Dickinson, Holly Johnson, so many of you that join me each day. Again, my sincere thanks. I appreciate it. I think you guys are awesome. I don't know why you like to join me, but I love your company. I'm glad you do. I appreciate all of you that are here. So, if I didn't get to see you here live this morning, make sure you go ahead and give us hashtag replay if you are watching later in the day. Just love to see what's people watch. I don't see a lot of people doing hashtag replay, so I don't know if I'm getting a lot of replays on this. I might have to see about changing the format, or I don't know. We'll see. But if you're here this morning, don't forget, smash that like button, tag an hello friend. If you're in Facebook, go ahead and give us a thumbs up and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, remember to say good morning and share your comments. There's not a lot of news for me to share with you today. It's just more gossip and conversation than anything. So your comments keep me engaged. Good morning, Leroy Romero, Brandy Brickler. Good morning, Rob Stewart, Amy Blauser. Great to see y'all. Glenn Boussard. Good morning, sir. Matt Rasner. Good to see you. Randy said National Just Because Day. Is it? Ron Siegel says it's National Red Wine Day. And I think my friend Ron Siegel likes his red wine. So this is your day, right? Somewhere the only time I consider Easter time is 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah, there you go. I am still on East Coast time, even though I am here on the West Coast. So because East Coast time is the only time that matters, I mean, we're all there. So, who likes red wine? Let me know in the comments if you like red wine. Give us a wine emoji. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a smile. I do not drink wine. Wine's lost on me. I do drink coffee though. I like my coffee. So, Ron, why would you hashtag replay me? That is just wrong. Mike Morano, good morning, sir. Kyle Mazikas, great to have you here as well. So good to see all of you. If you like your red wine, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, we got all that same stuff. Remember, if you want a quick text alert that I'm going live, I'd be glad to send that out for you. We've got a quick text reminder that you can get at hmmr.io/reminder, or you can use this cool QR code over here. If you're on your phone right now, you can actually snap a photo, snap a screenshot, and that QR code will work. QR codes were so useless back in the day until phones started natively using them, and it's so great that they have. Makes a huge difference for sure, for sure. So I am on the laptop camera though today, just keeping it simple, keeping it easy. Ron Siegel, you have to get me some good red wine. You'll convert, dude. I don't have a palate. That's the problem. I have a terrible sense of smell. There's a condition. It actually has a fancy name. Condition, no sense of smell. It is called anosmia, which is when you have or weak. Let's see, weak sense of smell. I think it's a different name. Weak sense of smell. That is no, it's anosmia. Anosmia, sense of smell that you don't have a can't detect odors, um, a poor condition, not anosmia. I thought there was another name that they had for it. Hyposmia. That's what I would have is hyposmia, a weakened sense of smell. So I can't taste those fine things from there. Uh, Monica said, I came from a loan processing background because of me. You have a better understanding of the market and when to lock loans. Oh, Monica, I appreciate you. You're awesome. Leroy Romero, hell yeah, Red Wine Wednesday. Cab me up. You guys are funny. You're killing me. So, all right, well, let me show you what's going on this morning. There's not a tremendous amount to really talk about today. It's kind of a quiet day. Let's go over what happened yesterday first. Let me pop this up for you. So, here we go. There you are. All right. So let me show you a quick recap of what happened yesterday. Let's zoom in here. Come on, do what I want. I love it when the computer. No, there. Okay, there you go. I'm telling you, man, it must be my fingers. There we go. Okay. All right. So take a look at what happened yesterday. Where's my Percentify? Okay. All right. Pricing came out yesterday, right about here, right around 10 a.m. You could see that after pricing came out, we saw some nice improvement here on the day. Remember, mortgage-backed security pricing, when the pricing goes up, the prices that traders are willing to pay for mortgage-backed securities, that helps better pricing. End of the day around here. So, of course, that is a positive on the day, which gives us Mr. Happy Smiley Face right here. All right. So we did see an improvement. I think it was about 8 or 10 basis points yesterday. Not huge, but unfortunately this morning, though, we're down here. So we gave back some of that. Ending the day yesterday, I had said, let's see here. Let me get rid of that for a minute. Where is my rate text alerts? They're under a different thing here. There we are. All right. So I had said yesterday, bond move a bit. We went from up about to up 12 basis points on the day. So we did improve about 10 basis points yesterday. Yesterday's end of day text bonds did improve a bit. There were a few lenders who repriced better, but those that didn't could see better AM pricing if the gains hold. But the gains didn't hold. So we can go ahead and just basically cross out that idea. That ain't going to happen. So you ain't going to see better AM pricing. Not a lot of urgency to lock at the moment, but let's see if bonds drift higher this morning or continue to improve a bit. And that's kind of where we were at. And so far, no good. Not seeing any improvement. We've got basically a little bit of loss this morning, but overall, it's about the same. 10-year Treasury yield sitting at 4.28. It has been holding rock steady at that 4.28 mark. 4.275, which we're going to round to 4.28 on Monday. Yesterday, it was down a hair at 4.26, back up to 4.28. We do have some technical support here at the blue line. Remember, the 10-year Treasury yield, we want that yield to go down. It's the opposite of what happens with mortgage bonds. So this is support. We don't want to go up and test it, but if we did test it, we do have support over here at 4.30 basically from this blue line, which is the 25-day moving average. If it were broken, it would go up to the red line, which is the 50-day moving average. Today and tomorrow, there's really not anything going on. Tomorrow, we get the revised GDP data numbers, but that's not enough to really get excited about anything. This morning, rate sheet's likely about the same as yesterday, with bonds giving the gains back. That puts us right back at 6.52, which is the best we've seen in over a month, but just by a hair, because we saw 6.53 right here on 8/13, August 13th. So we are at 6.52. Rates are pretty solid. If we take a look at expectations for a Fed rate cut, we're still right below 90%. Markets have come back, and they're believing that we're going to see that rate cut. Reprice risk on the day is low. There's no economic data. There's nothing new on the Fed front. There's nothing really that's going to cause any real concern on any of this. Like I've said yesterday, rates really aren't going anywhere. We can go ahead and let's take a peek at what we've got going on here, and I'll throw there we go. I'm gonna throw the lock advice up down on the bottom. So, taking a look here, there is an interesting opinion article, and this is an opinion article by Bill Dudley. And as it says here, Bill Dudley was actually the former president of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. So he's a past Fed member. And he said, I wasn't very worried about the Fed. Now I am. Markets are underestimating the threat that the president's move to oust Lisa Cook represents. And I think it kind of, this is relevant to mortgage rates because of how things can play out. Let me see. I don't know if I can make this fit. Hold on. I'm kind of guessing here. So this is, let's see if I move this here and I move this here. I don't know if that I can't even tell. I don't know. All right. So anyway, I'll just stop sharing for a minute and then we'll come back to it. I'll go back to the other articles. Right now, everything Phil in the news is all about, the Lisa Cook thing. It's going to take a little while for it to play out. It'll of course get into litigation. This is an unheard of move. We haven't had a president remove a Fed member since Teddy Roosevelt. So it's really, it's an thing. The concern is that if Trump were to somehow replace, if he is able to follow through and replace Lisa Cook, which I don't think is going to happen. By the way, they could look. I'm not saying that she didn't do something wrong, and it wasn't an error in judgment. I don't have the full details, and one thing I am big about though is I don't like the vicious, aggressive attack over the idea that this is still accusations. These are not yet proven. You prove that she signed a document, but it doesn't. I haven't seen the documents, right? So I just until things run their course. This is America, and I don't like that the pace, the frantic pace at which some of these things take hold. So, but the idea is that cause has to be actual dereliction of duty, not just that she did something wrong before she was a Fed member. Um, you start to argue the severity, especially. I don't agree with the charges that were brought against Trump for the whole, pricing his properties thing. I think that's nonsense. That was more political nonsense. It's not like Trump has started this whole thing. I mean, it was done against him. The idea that we have a convicted felon for a president is kind of ridiculous, but yet there it is. And that's some of the hypocrisy, is some of the things here is all of that stuff was fake. So, Ron Siegel, will the PC affect the market this week with it reporting on Friday before a holiday weekend? Anyone be around to trade the report? I don't think it will. I don't think it will, and I don't think. Thanks for getting me off that topic. It's probably better off to move off of it now. Brandy, if we were looking for ethics, and then we'd have nobody in office. Let's be realistic. I mean, does Cook have any innate market capital, or backing? Not particularly. The concern, Randy, is just how things are happening, and the fact that Trump would have control over what is historically an independent organization entity. With the federal bank and the it would basically, if he had the ability to, if he had the governors in his pocket, he could trickle that over even to the Fed presidents, and because the governors elect the president, the Fed president. So that's for there. Brady said you don't have to be convicted of a crime to be fired from your job. That is true. However, it's like tenure at a university. There are these jobs they're not at will. These are not at will jobs, Brandy. They are very specific in that role so that the people can be there to do their jobs. Ron says he forecasts huge volatility early on Friday. Forgive me. Low volume, end of month rebalancing could have some early effect. I think so. I think we might see a little bit of movement, but I don't think it'll be from the PCE. I don't think the PCE is going to affect anything. Even with the holiday weekend, I think it'll be calm. I don't think we'll see much because we know it's going to show some more inflation. I don't think it's going to move the idea that the Fed's going to cut in September. It would have to come in really, really, really high. I think that everything holds off until the jobs data on September 5th. Mike said, I hear you. Trump's overreach, like Intel, other corporations, is too far. However, occupancy is very different, which gave her favorable rates, occupancy fraud, and they do pursue it in today's world. And they can pursue it, pursue it. She would get probation. Let's be realistic. She would get probation. She wouldn't get anything more than that. And like I said yesterday, I'm not here to judge other people because I'm not perfect and I'm not a religious man, but I guess that's almost like a religious tenet, I would like to know a little bit more. I'd never heard of Lisa Cook. If you asked me who's Lisa Cook, I wouldn't have told you she was a Fed governor. Never heard about Lisa Cook until they were going after her. The other thing too is, I think that you need to pay attention to what's going on. And basically, I want to keep this relevant. Like, what would happen to mortgage rates if Trump were to have more influence? It were to be able to follow through and gain more influence over the Fed, mortgage rates wouldn't go down that much. Would they go down enough to spark, more activity? I do agree with Logan Motoshami that if rates get down to the low sixes or even 5.99, it's going to cross that mental barrier for borrowers. We're going to see a lot more activity, but I don't know. When the Fed, two Fed rate cuts have already been priced into the market now. We know that, right? So we know that that the expectation that the Fed is going to cut in September and probably in December. I'll just make this full screen because we can see that. We've seen that, and we've got it right there. We've got it right here. And there's only a 12% expectation that we would get one rate cut. So this is 0 cuts right here. This is 1 rate cut right here. Okay, this is 2 rate cuts, and then this is 3, or a big cut and a little cut. So this could be, it could be a September, October, December quarter point cut or a September half point cut. Right now, no expectation of a September half point cut, but that would take, we would have to see like what we've talked about before, which would be another really weak jobs data, and then that would put us in the realm of a September 50 basis point cut. But right now, this not even remotely, this is not an option. If we were to see expectation grow for a 50 basis point cut, rates would come down a bit. How much farther down could they come? That's a great question. You're not looking at that much down. Right now, we're basically at 6.52 here. Take a look at, let's use Mortgage News Daily as our reference point, right? And take a look at where rates have been, recently. And our best rates were here in September of 24 when markets were cheering that the Fed was going to have to cut rates. But remember, this is more than just Fed rate cuts that the market was reacting to here. It was expectation that we were going to go into recession. There was a lot of talk of, the labor market slowing down, and that's kind of where things were at. Then they pushed back up, and now they've trickled back down. The problem is you can't magically push rates down. I still say that in order to see rates go down significantly, we would have to see quantitative easing. We'd have to see the Fed buying up mortgage-backed securities, creating more demand to see mortgage rates go down significantly. It's not, the Fed funds rate going down is not enough to drive mortgage rates down significantly to push them lower. It would play a role, but it's not the big thing. They'd have to get into quantitative easing. Ron said there's an interesting conversation on lending this week. They feel the market will do what the market will do regardless of who is on the Fed board and what the Fed does. Referenced, and when you say market, are you talking about stock market or bond market? They of course correlate, but they are different. They referenced last September when the Fed cut was followed by stronger than expected economic news. Yeah, and that's what I was just pointing out to, as Ron said. Randy said, I'm seeing softer pricing, market slowdown, my appraisals finally. Yeah, I think that's going to continue to happen. But if we saw rates go down, that would create a surge in demand, which would hold prices steady. So, that's kind of where things are at. I think we have to continue to go through these phases where for prices to come down a little bit, and we're going to see a little bit of a correction in some markets, but you're not going to see it's no bubble. There's no huge thing there. You're talking the bond market. Okay. With all the talk about what constitutes fraud or not, my question is, what is the penalty for the MLO? I think I could lose my license and pay a fine. I don't know, because I'll tell you what, unless the MLO had specific knowledge of something, I don't think an MLO should ever be considered to be prosecuted for an occupancy situation, because you can't control where somebody lives. If they tell you where they're going to live and their job and other stuff makes sense and it goes through underwriting, that's not the originator. Unless the originator did something to create the fraud and you can prove that, I don't think an originator should even be a topic of conversation. What do you guys think? Do you think the originator is actually, to do on these? Especially if the loan closed 2 weeks later, they might not even have known there was another application. There might not, nothing would have, there would have been an inquiry on credit, but would you know that it was for a different property? I guess only if you knew that the credit inquiries were in a different state, that might be a red flag. Ron said, "Okay, I'll say it. Lisa Cook was a Biden DEI pick. I did a Gemini search on her background." Yeah, I won't disagree, man. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it's amazing how we've never heard of Lisa Cook before before all of this drama. Like we've heard of Mickey Bowman, we heard of Waller, I mean, Raphael Bostic, I mean, anybody, but not. I've never heard of Lisa Cook. It was never really a name that was, and Kugler either. I hadn't heard of Kugler either before that. Fraud is much more subtle than 20 years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to prove fraud. I really, I think it's hard to do that. Yeah, if it could be proven that the originator knew about the fraud, the MLO would be gone. And I could see that being a thing. I mean, as an MLO, you have a responsibility, an ethical responsibility to do the right thing. So, um, Mike said because it's a hard pull, clearly mortgage inquiry on today's credit report, it sticks out now. Yeah, I would think that's what I said. That's the only way that you could know. I remember I did have a borrower that timed getting two mortgages back when I originated, and that was why there was so much of a mess pre '08. And we didn't know about it. We didn't see it until after he closed, and I was talking to him, and he told me how he was buying another property at the same time using a different originator. Like I didn't know that. So any chance to remove lower LLPA or to lower LLPAs? No, no, of course not. Because again, that's something that Pulte could do. And you guys know I don't like Pulte. I think the guy, that's my idea of the equivalent, Ron, of a DEI pick under the Trump administration. It's a KMA pick, a KMA kiss my ass pick. I want an ass kisser in that position. And Pulte is just he's just there with his lips flapping, brown noser. But there's no talk about any of that. Like we talked about, lower the guarantee fees that were supposed to be temporary. That stuff. They want all that profit. They want that profit. They want to do something with Fannie and Freddie. We'll see if it actually goes public. But yeah, that is stuff that they could do to actually lower rates immediately. And notice that that's never a topic of conversation. And most people, Randy, don't even bring it up. She's been in academia. Yeah. So, I would love to know why she was getting a property in Michigan and Atlanta. It wasn't like she was the Atlanta Fed president. So like why Michigan and Atlanta? What was the reason for that? But it definitely sounds how like KMA pick. Yeah, that's exactly just the brown noser. I mean, let's face it. I don't think Pulte is even remotely qualified for the position of Federal Housing Finance Agency, the head of that. So I don't think he's even a little bit. I wish I could get my phone to be the camera. It's not coming up today. I don't know why. But I wish I could, because it is beautiful outside, and I want to show you all that it's beautiful outside this morning. It is gorgeous, and but I don't know. I don't know why. Continue. Yeah, I know. I did unlock my phone. Yep. But anyway, that's it for me, y'all. I'm going to wrap it up. It's been wonderful to chat with you guys. I appreciate you. Ooh, enable iPhone mirroring. Open your thing. Let's see. Well, let's try it. No, it didn't work. So I will be here tomorrow morning, though, and working from here before I fly home. So I'll come to you there. Tomorrow we get the GDP data. There's really not much else going on. Again, I'm in a stance to lock loans. Things are really kind of steady. There's no real solid urgency. You don't have to lock them right this second, but oh, Siegel, what did you just put in there, man? Yeah, Pulte. I know what he's done. I mean, he did the meme stock stuff, dude. I get these things. I think the guy's a terrible person. So I'm going to wrap it up, y'all. Thank you again for joining me. Appreciate all of you. And I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take care, everybody.